It's one of the things I love about working here is the university's focus on the community, and we certainly see that as a really important role for the School of Music, since we are such a visible program for the university.
Welcome to the Shellcast, a show about music, culture, and Memphis.
As we live into our mission of building community through music,
education,
and diversity,
we look forward to interviewing artists and musicians and hearing about how they are writing their own stories,
building their own communities.
85 years strong, and with a rich history, the Levitt Shell has stood the test of time as a beacon of hope in the heart of Memphis.
This podcast is brought to you by Orion Federal Credit Union, where a big part of us is being a big part of the community. Visit orionfcu.com to see how Orion is redefining banking. Hello and welcome to Shellcast. Dr. Kevin Sanders, the director of the Rudi E. Scheidt School of Music at the University of Memphis, has put together quite a resume. Besides holding multiple degrees in music from incredibly impressive institutions, he's performed with some of the finest orchestras in the world on 5 different continents. Fortunately for Memphis and the world, his passion for music carries over into his passion for providing a solid, contemporary, and well-rounded education in music to those who want it. We're proud to welcome Dr. Kevin Sanders to Shellcast. Dr. Sanders, thank you so much for taking some time with us today.
Thanks for having me on, Silver.
It's impossible not to look at your bio and be impressed. These are just a couple of high points. You're the director of the Rudi E. Scheidt School of Music. You oversee a staff of over 50 people as well as 440 students enrolled in various studies. You've performed on 5 continents with some of the world's finest orchestras, recorded a solo album entitled Long Distance. You hold degrees from the Interlochen Arts Academy, Indiana University, the Juilliard School, and Michigan State University. It's pretty obvious Memphis is very lucky to have you.
Oh, that's very kind. I have to say it's an incredible honor to be the director of the School of Music. And what you have to understand is that I am working with a school filled with faculty and students that are just as accomplished as I am. That's one of the most exciting things about having a job like this is every day it's something a little bit new in terms of finding out an incredible new thing that someone did or finding a way that I can support something that they've done.
Well, I got a lot of questions about the school, of course, but right off the bat, what was the path that brought you to Memphis and what made it feel like it was a good fit for you at this point in your career?
Well, sure. I was hired in 2008 as the tuba and euphonium professor, and I grew up in a little town right outside of Little Rock, Arkansas. So when this position came open and for a new tuba faculty member in 2008, I was reading up on the school and really, frankly, just blown away by the size of the school, everything it had to offer, the opportunity to work with the other faculty here, considering how accomplished they were. So it was a real privilege when I was offered a position and be given the opportunity to contribute to everything here.
That's phenomenal. You've already shown how excited you are to be the director of the School of Music. Being such a comprehensive program, what are your responsibilities? They have to be vast.
Well, it's one of the things that I love about the job is that every day it's a little bit different. So, I mentioned a moment ago just being able to find out or support student or faculty accomplishments. And you can be talking about the early music ensemble one day and rock bands the next day, or music education one day and record labels the next. But, really it's about just making sure that the activities that we're doing and everything that we're working on is kind of rowing in the same direction in terms of helping our students and just making an impression on our city and around the globe.
Just the things that you mentioned, that really is a very comprehensive program. I think it's important for people to know know, a variety of different styles of music. Plus, you're also talking about some of the administrative aspects of the music industry. I think that's wonderful.
Yes, yeah, the music industry program, it's one of the programs that makes the School of Music unique, and one of the kind of the identifiers that we find is being able to mix the recording and the music business side that we offer in the music industry with the classical programs that we offer on the performance side, and that really creates a great kind of potpourri of opportunities for our students that you can't find at a lot of other programs.
It's really wonderful. I understand that there's a new Scheidt Family Music Center that's nearly complete off of Central Avenue, north end of campus. Tell us about the facility and what it's going to mean for the future of the school, if you will, please.
Well, if you're listening today and you have not gotten a chance to drive down Central Avenue, I highly encourage it, because it is absolutely incredible to drive by this Scheidt Family Music Center. It's a massive building, and it really speaks to the future and the direction of the school. You know, really, in a nutshell, it's a facility that is going to reflect the world-class work that has been going on in the school for decades. And it's going to be boasting a handful of state-of-the-art recording studios,
wow,
some large rehearsal spaces for choir, popular music, jazz, and then also a large recording space for band and orchestra, in addition to a 900-plus seat concert hall, which is sort of the gem of the entire facility.
That is incredible. All under one roof.
All under one roof. And once you see the building, you'll completely understand how it fits under one roof, because it is a large building. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting, because this new building is going to allow us to really serve the community and bring the community and the world to our campus. It's going to allow us to host national and international conferences, which, of course, our faculty and students will benefit from. But we've been talking to almost every performing arts organization in the city, and they are planning on being in the facility in some way. And what's really great about that is most of them are really interested in the educational component of what that means. And so they're really interested in making sure that they're accessible to our students when they're in the building next year. And so that's another one of those kind of unique opportunities that we're going to be able to provide that you can't find in a lot of other places.
Well, continuing on that, now we've spoken about the completeness of the program and everything. Do you feel like that's the most unique or the most special thing that people can receive at University of Memphis if they're looking to pursue music?
In terms of the connections to the community?
Connections to community and maybe even their own career in the future.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we are doing so much in the school, but I do think that one of the real unique marks that we have is the community and the community partnerships that we've established over the last couple of decades. And those partnerships have allowed us to create internships and in the schools and in recording studios and teaching and performance opportunities that, are going to be hard to find in a college town. And so you couple that with the instruction and mentorship that a student would get on campus with our faculty. And, the goal is for students to graduate with all of this knowledge and then also with resumes that allow them to be competitive.
That really is wonderful. I know an awful lot of people that have graduated from the university, and the fact that they have such a well-rounded education has done them so well, both in music and their lives in general.
Yes. It's one of the things I love about working here is the university's focus on the community. And we certainly see that as a really important role for the School of Music, since we are such a visible program for the university.
I would think there's going to be a lot of advantages to being the School of Music at a place like Memphis, a city that is known for music.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. And we have a lot of prospective students that inquire about the school simply because they know there is a rich and amazing tradition of music happening in this city.
Yeah, you're going to be in Memphis.
Right. Well, that's one of the neat things. If you have ever been to a performance at the Orpheum or the Levitt Shell or Beale Street or any of our amazing performance groups in town, Memphis Symphony, Opera Memphis, groups like that, you've seen our faculty or alumni or students perform. So we play a very large role in the performing arts here in the city.
And I think also on the other side of the performance, the people behind the boards, the people behind the lights, that sort of thing, you guys do an awful lot of work educating those folks as well.
We do, yes. I mean, that's a huge part of our music industry side. And you're right, that's not quite as visible, but any performing artist will tell you absolutely crucial.
Yeah, indeed. Maybe on a more general level, what advice would you give to a younger person who might be considering a career in music?
I would say to consider a couple of things. When we think about what a musician in the 21st century needs, it's very important that musicians know how to work with each other, but also with a lot of different types of musicians, not just the other musicians in your choir or band or orchestra, but musicians in the music industry field or across the school. And that's one of the reasons why it's so important that we are a comprehensive school of music in terms of what we can offer. We can create that network for them. The other thing is that, I would encourage high school students to be thinking about the sorts of skills that they are going to learn when they go to school. We pride ourselves on making sure that our students are not just sitting in a classroom all day. And
right.
But we're infusing things like music business and music technology and entrepreneurship in addition to the traditional music studies. And that's also where our community partnerships come into play, where students are leaving campus to go and experience music in the real world, in real venues with real musicians. And the last thing I would add, Silver, is just that I think it's, in like a lot of other industries, it's really important that students graduate with a network of mentors that they can find on the faculty, or a network of peers and colleagues as they develop friendships in their school.
I think those are all wonderful points. I know I've personally worked in the music business for some 40 years now. The business model is so much different now from what it was in my youth that it's really, really important for people to understand that.
I mean, that's one of the biggest challenges about that is how quickly it changes.
Correct.
And, our music industry faculty are constantly, going to conferences and listening and paying attention to how that industry is being shaped, just to make sure that our students are getting the latest information and that they're equipped the way they need to be.
Want to learn more about how you can support the Levitt Shell and its mission of building community through music, education, and diversity? Head to levittshell.org. You can read up on our 85-year history and check out our schedule of live and virtual events. Visit our shell shop to grab all the swag and find out ways you can participate in our mission, whether that's through donations, volunteering, sponsoring a show, or becoming a member of our Shell Circle. Once again, that's levittshell.org.
Well, it's obviously very important to the school to be involved with the Memphis music community. What role do you think you guys most play with that community?
I would say that our role is crucial. We see it as very, very important to be involved. And it's like I mentioned, that's one of the things I love working at the university is that they value that community engagement. We try to play a leadership role when needed, just because of the resources that we have available to us. But we also try to support when needed. Really, this is successful music and the arts in the community is a tide that lifts all boats. And so that's kind of our philosophy toward that. A good example is this coming summer, we're launching our Summer at the Scheidt programming, which is nice. All of our summer camps kind of under the same umbrella of Summer at the Scheidt. So it's camps that we're offering in band and choir and orchestra, but also new to this year, the camp is being expanded to popular music. So think rock bands, and then also elementary music camp.
Wow.
Yeah. And in order to make sure that this was going to be successful, it was very important that this was not just something that we were figuring out on our own, inside of the campus. So we reached out and we've established executive and advisory boards with over 30 educators and administrators and professional musicians and business owners in the region that are helping us make decisions about our programming and making sure that we're addressing what students need, relative to what we can provide.
I mean, that's absolutely awesome. One of the ways that the music industry is no different from any other industry, the future's in the universities. The future is in the kids. And the fact that you're not sitting on your hands and you're willing to move with the times and progress and give everybody as complete an outlook as possible, I think that's wonderful.
Well, thank you. I mean, we completely understand that in order to stay relevant, we have to stay active and vigilant about what the community needs. Speaking of how the industry is changing rapidly, one of the components of our Summer at the Scheidt programming is that we're going to be offering electives in various classes that we know the vast majority of, K through 12 students don't have access to. So when they come to Summer at the Scheidt, they might be able to take a class or a workshop in music marketing or audience development or songwriting or leadership for musicians or improvisation or world drumming. We've got a long list of electives, but those are the sorts of opportunities that we know we can provide that they can't get elsewhere, and that we know where students can, it's a kind of a safe place to explore these other topics that they might be interested in that might not have access to otherwise.
And the worlds that might open up for some people, that's wonderful. That's fantastic.
We're very excited about that part of it.
What kind of partnerships and support does the school receive as a result of its connection to Memphis?
Well, almost every partnership offers something a little different. So some of the things that we do right now, we have professional residencies. I'll give you a good example of that. Once the Scheidt Family Music Center comes online, the Memphis Symphony and Opera Memphis will be performing in that new building, and we're really excited about that. And they've been completely open to making sure that some of what they do is open to our students. So these sorts of residencies really are a win-win in terms of having them perform in our space and then giving our students that sort of hands-on learning. We also have internship opportunities that we can develop. We've done that with Shelby County Schools and different recording studios around town, and then just general performance and teaching opportunities. And all of that is to say, like I mentioned earlier, this giving students an opportunity to build their resumes while they are here and not waiting to do that after they graduate.
It really feels like the present is pretty well in hand at the moment. You've got a good grip on things. What are you looking to for the future? Where do you see places where you can improve or expand even more?
Well, with this incredible facility, I'm looking at it as I look out the window across the street. It's hard not to see anything but the future being bright. I will tell you that, as a faculty over the last year, we have been thinking about the future a lot, and we have been forming plans about where we want to be in the next few years, just to make sure that, in addition to this, brick and mortar facility, we are making sure that we take care of the people, and we're filling it with ideas that are going to get us to the next level of whatever that is. But, we see our role as having a place for music users and music doers. And so we're trying to put this infrastructure in place where every kind of musician can have a place in the Scheidt School. And we expect there to be a lot of growth, not only because of what the Scheidt Family Music Center is going to bring, but we're in the middle of launching a new music therapy program. And, we're just going to continue to build what makes this school unique and embrace classical and popular music in performance and education.
Do you have to schedule time for yourself to breathe?
Well, thankfully it is, thankfully you mentioned at the top of this how broad the school is and how many people are here. And this energy that I'm talking about, this excitement, it's across the board, and everybody, even in the midst of this pandemic, has been very hard at work and contributing to this planning process. And everybody's really been playing their part to make sure that when this building opens, we're ready and we've got plans in place to get through the next couple of years.
Fantastic. There was a phenomenal show at the Shell last year from the Rudi Scheidt School of Music, and I understand we got one coming up soon. Do you want to give me any hints about it?
I can give you a little bit. That is going to feature our Southern Comfort Jazz Orchestra, and we are going to have an incredible evening of Motown hits. Yes, and we're really looking forward to it. Our longtime director of jazz studies, Jack Cooper, will be directing, and he'll be working the microphone while that evening. Yeah, we're just really excited about that, and just performing at the Levitt Shell. How that also, getting off campus and performing in that incredible and historic space. What that allows us to do in terms of just reaching people in Memphis.
Well, the show was terrific last year. I can't tell you how many people expressed appreciation. So this one's going to be a lot of fun too, I can tell.
Yes. And, as we've done more of these, the answers from faculty have been unanimous in that we need to keep doing these. And
That's
we'll be doing more in the future.
Wonderful.
Definitely.
Dr. Sanders, we've covered an awful lot here. That's a lot of information. Is there anything else you'd like for people to know about the School of Music at the university?
We put on close to 300 events per year. And,
wow.
Yes, it's an incredible amount of events. And if you're interested, and like I mentioned, it's everything from early music ensemble to rock bands to band concerts to orchestra concerts, jazz singers. And if you're interested in any of that and you're interested in supporting musicians of the next generation, I would just encourage, if you're listening today, to find us on social media, all the typical social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or sign up for our mailing list so you can be kept in the loop on when our next concert is going to be.
What's the website so people can have that for a starting point? All
you need to do is go to Google, or you can just type in memphis.edu/music.
Fantastic. Again, Dr. Sanders, I can't tell you how much we appreciate your time and certainly all your efforts for both the university and the city of Memphis. Thank you.
Thank you, Silver. Really appreciated getting a chance to talk with you and share all the amazing things that are going on here.
Can't wait to see you again soon.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Be well.
Such a joy to talk to Dr. Sanders. We think it's safe to say that Memphis in specific and the world in general are fortunate to have a person of his abilities and enthusiasm charting the future course at the Rudi E. Scheidt School of Music. You can get lots of info about what the university offers to music students at memphis.edu/music. They have a lot going on. It's well worth checking out. The Shell also has a lot going on, and you can keep up with our activities and even make a much appreciated donation at www.overtonparkshell.org. Thanks for spending some time with us today, and we hope you join us again soon on Shellcast.